your 1-2 strategy for Asia, China and India, it's a good bet that if you focus your energies on these two countries, which, by the way, does not come with a lot of pain, understanding these countries. But it is very, very important. We need to gain competitive advantage, and we need to be more competitive in this country, because these two countries are not letting up on competitiveness. In fact, they're growing by leaps and bounds. So actually, I don't mean to lecture, but we're the ones who need to get out there as road warriors and sell, 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 market, market, market into these countries. The China dream will make way for the India shock. Now, what do I mean by the Pacific century? Well, my entire professional career is focused on the Pacific century. As a very young man, I went to Asia, I learned the language, and I started to engage in business in Asia to start my professional career. I morphed that back into North America. So I've essentially been doing it on both sides of the Pacific Rim. I've worked for Western companies and I've worked for Chinese companies. And Tokyo basically invested a lot of technology transfer into a lot of these little tigers. But now the little tigers, they grew. South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan. And they became very, very powerful countries. And they started to export, and their whole export engine was growing and growing and growing. Up until China entered the market around 1994 or 5. But when China entered the market in the late 90s, a lot of these countries realized, whoa, China, the steam engine called China, it's not slowing down. In fact, it's like it's Shanghai levitated railroad. It's going at 400 kilometers per hour, which is very, very fast. Nobody's going to slow down China. So they thought that they could export their way. But when China came up, China has been really taking all of the exports from a lot of these other countries. And all of these other countries now bring their manufacturing into China. So where manufacturing goes, eventually technology goes. China will be the recipient of all of the technology from the West. If you let them. When you're in China, protect your IP. I think everybody's pretty aware of that. Countries that thought they could patiently export the way up, roadblock. The Great Wall of China is here. The Middle Kingdom is taking center stage. Guess what? India is right behind it. But the paths they used to get there were very different. China is a competitor, as is India. But it's also an opportunity. Opportunity, Weiji, risk and opportunity always come hand in hand, as the Chinese say. It's a very, very big opportunity for Indian companies as well. No pyramid can be larger than the combination of India and China, if you're a Western manufacturer. Indian companies need to understand China better. How many Indian people can speak Chinese? Not too many. A lot of Chinese speak English. That's helpful. But I believe that there needs to be a better bridge. I have tried to build a bridge between both countries myself. And they need to understand, by setting up offices there, not just for liaison, for demonstrating to China's strategy, but for, you need full-fledged business. That's the only way to communicate. These two countries, they seem similar, but the past 50 years, they have been very, very different from each other. Very, very different, the growth and how they developed from each other. And I've had the pleasure, really, and the opportunity to sell and to export into both, and to watch their rise. It's been very interesting to watch the rise of both of these countries. The global smartphone revolution, it will amplify and help bridge the communication revolution between China and India. Now I'd like